Wonderful.
Okay.
Okay. Well, we
Yes.
should start to greet these
Okay, I
beautiful
start
people.
admitting.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Valerie. Hello, Linda. Hello, Amy. Hi, Anne. Hi, Judy. Oh my gosh, it's so good to see everybody. Oh my word. So, hello. Altsena, Sissy, Katie. Oh my gosh, I love it. Al, Mildred, it's so good to see you guys. Richard, hello. I am so excited for this call today. I am so excited to see all of you. Hello, David. Hello. Hello, Graham. I see you there, even though your camera's not on. Hello, Judy. It is so good to see you guys. It's going to be a great day. It's going to be such a great call. So those of you, they're all coming in, those of you who do not know who I am, my name is Jana Taylor, and I started back at the end of March. I found Dr. Clint's TED Talk. I was looking for some health solutions and I found his TED Talk. And then I found that he was looking for some support on the Dream Team for his book launch. And so I enrolled in the book launch, and I've done several different projects for Dr. Clint. And it has been a joy. It has been an amazing experience for me. I love all the miracles that just unfold as I do these principles that are in this book. And so I'm very grateful that Dr. Clint has asked me to lead the group for, sometimes co-host with him, but right now he's traveling. He should join us in about 15 minutes, maybe 30 minutes. But he's asked me to be on the call with you guys and get us into from our heads to our hearts. So one of the things that I would like you to do is I'd like you to put in the chat one word or a phrase of how you are feeling today. And I'd just like you to put that in the chat. So everybody put that in the chat. How are you feeling today? What is going on with you today? So we've got David feels blessed. We've got Ronnie says excited, awesome, grateful, valuable, grateful. Oh my gosh, I love it. Overwhelmed. That is a real thing, feeling overwhelmed. And that is one of the reasons why we're on this call, is to be able to help join our spirits together and to be able to talk about those types of things and be able to bring some peace to our soul. Feeling fantastic. Judy says hopeful. I'm sorry, sometimes I can't read these. Richard is excited. I love it. So blessed. I love seeing all of these. So last week we had a wonderful call. I loved hearing about the story of Milo, and I loved hearing about Dr. Naram's secrets. And one of the things that he said, that Dr. Clint kind of gave us a little game. I don't know, he said, we're trying a new game, and the new game was that we create a problem journal. And then we get curious about what the problem is. That problem, the bigger the problem, the better. The more excited Dr. Naram would get. If he heard a problem that was big, he wanted to grab hold of it and express himself, or he wanted to discover the answer. So he said, get curious. What are the benefits of the problem? What are the hidden benefits of the problem? And what are the side benefits of the problem? And then he said to look at the problem as a Diti Devo Bawa. What is the divine gift in this problem? And what is the God in this? What is the gift in this? And then to just, really enjoy that, the gift in it, and be able to move through it with a different perspective. So I love all of these comments about how you guys are feeling in the chat. Excited, blessed, awesome, forgiven. I love that. I wanted to bring this awareness to you guys before we dropped in from our head to our heart. And before we do that, I wanted to ask if anybody has used these principles during the week, if they would like to unmute and share with the group. Is there anybody that would like to share? Anne, would you like to? Yeah, just unmute.
So this week, things have been a little frugal over the summer because I'm not working, and I have a heater to heat the pool. And so this time of year when you really can't swim, and I didn't use it all year to save money, I was like, I'm going to try it. And I'm going to, so we got the pool nice and warm and we just had so much fun swimming in it. And I swim in it more now than I do in the summer because when it's real warm like that, it feels good. Well, of course, 1 day or 2 days in, and the electric blew to the pool area. And, I know I try to be all independent, like I can do everything, but I am not a man and I don't like to play with electricity. And so I had to call somebody. And, sometimes these like worker guys, they come in and they wreck up the grass and they spill fluid all over the driveway and they just do all these things that it has been testing my Atiti Devo Bawe. I mean, to the hilt. And this man who's helping right now has been kicked off of my farm 4 times because like they'll get angry and like about something that I can't do anything about. And I'm like, we don't raise our voice around here, and then I'll be all calm and sweet. And then I'll get to a place and then I'm like, you're out of here, and like my bar has gone up and up and up. And it's like, sometimes I feel like, am I letting people get away with things by using this Atiti Devabawe? Am I avoiding conflict? Am I using spiritual, what did they say, bypassing? You know what I mean? Like there's some times where I really wonder, but I was thinking like, it's taking forever for them to do the job, but it'll get done right. Or that this guy is always complaining of pain and I don't think he'll ever read a book like this, but I could at least keep dropping hints, and trying to see it more of an opportunity. But one thing I can say is that I'm not as aggravated. I'm not as upset. I'm not as, like is the word, like, how you get in like a little pissing match with someone, like they say something and then you say something back and then it escalates. I've really been aware of like that pattern in myself, or like, and I laugh. Now I think the little pissy thoughts in my head, but I laugh at myself, but they don't come out of my mouth. So I feel like I'm making way good progress. And then I can even, now I'm even to the point where I can turn something that's usually aggravating even into some kind of fun. Like I'm learning about the electricity now and I'll be less afraid about it in the future or something. But anyway, I have really got tested this week.
I love it. And thank you for being human.
And I am.
Because that's what it's all about. So many times we come on these calls and we think, oh my gosh, they're sharing this wonderful thing. And, oh my gosh, they've come through on the other end. And, and we're human. And I think that that's why we connect so deeply, is because we are human. And I love that you are aware of of what you are doing, how you are responding and reacting. I think it's awesome. And thank you so much for sharing. It is a work in progress. It's just a process and we just do what we can when we can. It was interesting. I'll share my little story right now before we drop into our head, from our head to our heart. Clint called me. He messaged me and said, I'm going to be on a plane and I'm not going to be able to do the call. So will you do the call? And well, I said, well, can we talk? And so he called me and I said, I don't want to do the call without you, and he's like, okay, well, we can postpone, and then after I hung up the call, I went, how selfish of me. This group is so incredible. We all come together to share our hearts. This is not about me. I don't do hardly anything. I just come here and help facilitate what you guys bring to the call. I just see us as this. Arlene said yesterday in our writers group something. Arlene, can you unmute yourself and give that statement about the soup, the lid with the lid on it?
I'll do my best. That may be a little out of context. No, we were speaking about vulnerability, and I had said, because I think for me, Dr. Clint exhibits the epitome of vulnerability. And I believe that as we become, or I'm seeing that as I become more vulnerable, it actually brings us closer rather than further from one another. And as we were sharing what we wrote in our writers speakers group, which can really flush up many, many emotions for those of us that are doing these writings, there are many things that can happen where the personality will put a lid, what I call a lid, on the soup. And if we don't take the lid off, we don't get to really taste the soup. And so the lid and the soup is representative of us becoming vulnerable and open to one another. And I really am finding that that's where the real connection is. It's not in what we've been taught about keeping a lid on something or looking a particular way, presenting a particular way. And so I have found that these calls give me the opportunity, and I've had others that lead the way on this, to become vulnerable and to share, really share from the depths of our being what's happening, and to help us to understand more and more and more what's underneath in that soup. And we have the grace on these calls to experience healing with one another when that happens. And it's just pure grace when it happens. So I encourage you all to take the lid off.
That is
I
so,
hope that was good.
that is exactly what I was thinking. Is I thought, here we are, is this big pot of mung bean soup. And we can, choose to be one of the spices. Some of us might be coriander. Some of us might be, cumin. Some of us might be turmeric. Dr. Naram's teaching is the mung beans. It's the core of the soup. And in order for us to share, when we come together as a group, every time we come together, the soup is a little different. Sometimes you make it with vegetables. Sometimes you make it with spices. A little bit more of this and a little bit less of that, and so every time we come together, it's like a new bowl of mung bean soup. And I hope, my hope and my desire, and it's been my desire for a long time, is that you guys will reach in and take that lid off and share your vulnerability, because it's beautiful. So as I got off the call with Dr. Clint, and I thought, how selfish of me to let my own insecurities get in the way of these beautiful calls. And so I messaged him and I let him know I am absolutely willing to, share on these calls and bring everybody together, because this is such a sacred time. I really value these times. And he said that, he would like to be on the calls too, because he loves them too. And that's why he postponed it a little bit, and he should be joining us really soon. But I'm going to have Cornelia cue up the music for us to go from our head to our heart. But as you guys are looking at this, look at, what you experienced this week with a problem. Look at what you experience as your lack of vulnerability. One of the things that, and before we go to that, I had one more thing to share. I had a beautiful friend say to me, Jana, what comes up for you when you are in that fear of being on the call? And I gave her a list, and I want to share the list with you. And you guys might laugh and you guys might agree, and it doesn't matter, because this was my list. Let me get my list here. So, as I was sitting there and identifying that the fear that I have is false evidence appearing real, I said, I'm afraid that I'll say something wrong, and I'm afraid that I'll hurt somebody, and I'm afraid I'll disappoint others. I'm afraid that I will fail. I'm afraid that I won't do a good job. I'm afraid that other people won't understand me, or I won't understand them and what they're trying to say. I'm afraid that I'll embarrass myself or embarrass somebody in the group. I'm afraid that I will, that they will lose interest in what I have to say and that they won't find it of value or of importance. I'm afraid that I'll be booted out of the group, that nobody would want me to come back. I'm afraid that I'll suffer heartbreak of something, you know, that I have, you know, I'll just suffer the heartbreak of some of these disappointments. And when she messaged me back, she said, Jana, those are my exact same fears. And I thought, how many times I thought back on the call last Sunday and times before where people share and then they message me and they say, oh my gosh, I shared too much. I shouldn't have shared that. Oh my gosh, why did I do that? I embarrassed myself. No, you didn't. You know, I was on a call with Dr. Clint had done a summit and I had shared with, it was another girls group. And I was interacting with her on the call and I thought I looked like a crazy woman, you know, sharing from my heart so vulnerably. And I just thought, oh my gosh, they're going to boot me out of the group tomorrow. I just know it. And when I got on the call, Dr. Clint was like, oh my gosh, Dana, that was so great. You know, can we, you know, we're going to share the video with everybody. I'm like, are you serious? And I had to go back and look at it. And I realized, you know what? I looked composed, even though inside I was like an absolute mess. But outside, I wasn't. And the reason why I share this to you guys is because what you bring to this group is so important. When we share, we learn. One thing that I say may spark something in another, that may spark something in another, that may spark something in another, and they may all be different. And it's okay because it's important to the growth of that individual. And that's why I really feel it in my heart to know that you guys are important. And I love seeing your faces, your vulnerability. I love hearing you guys on the call. Anyway, Cornelia, thank you. Let's go ahead and go from our head to our heart. I love seeing that. Chris, I love seeing your dog.
I just want to kind of share one thing that came up for me yesterday, speaking to what Jana and Arlene were just sharing. I was actually the one to read out my story yesterday in the writers and speakers group, and I had a very clear idea what I thought people would relate to in my story. And when I got the feedback, I personally was surprised how the different people in the group were actually relating to different parts in my story, which kind of showed me that whatever we think when we speak, it might be a minor thing that we share, that someone else has a big epiphany, a big aha moment, a big healing coming out of that. It's not necessarily what we think is the message, but sometimes it's something underneath that is actually much more important for an individual, because it speaks particularly to their own life, to their own story. And this was really a big aha moment for me, because as I said, I had my own kind of idea what would be the most important message, and how everyone reacted to it was an eye-opener to me. So whatever comes out today when you are sharing, or even in a chat, or when you speak, trust that if just one single person gets a healing out of it for whatever you're saying, it's the right thing you have said, because we are always trying to criticize ourselves. It's always this little voice coming up. But often it's really just one person needs to hear that particular thing you just said. And so trust that moment. And going from there, I was given the task this morning to pick the music for today to get us from the head to our heart. And I was, of course, whoever has been on the calls before, you know that we are all big fans of Gary Malkin. So of course, what did I do? I looked through all the songs that I have kind of in my playlist on YouTube. And I found one that I thought is the right one for today, and it's called A Good Day. So I'm going to share my screen now
You know,
with
while you're
you.
doing that, I just want to acknowledge Clint. Hello, Clint. Dr. Clint is on the call.
Hey, so good to be with you. I was just listening with my heart just so wide open as Jana, Arlene, and Connie. I was just heard the last parts of it as the plane boarded. I couldn't wait, so I just turned it on without my video, but I'm just sitting in the airport now, just glued to my screen, and I totally agree with what they're saying. You never know what you share, you know, could help touch someone else's life. So oftentimes, you know, what maybe comes out of you doesn't, you don't even anticipate what impact it makes on someone else's life. So as you know, as Connie is going into this piece to drop you from your head to your heart, just be open, you know, to whatever is the inspiration that comes to you, and on this call and future calls, as far as like what you share and how you open to it. And thank you, Cornelia and Jana, everyone who's shared so far.
So, and before we start, would everyone please unmute themselves? So I can just maybe do that as well, but so we don't have any background noises for this beautiful piece.
That's okay, Connie. Just go ahead and push play. I think we'll be fine.
So wherever you are in the world, I just invite you to take a deep breath, feel centered, feel grounded, feel the chair under you, the feet under your feet. Just take a deep breath and enjoy this beautiful message.
This is just another day in your life. It's not just another day. It's the one day that is given to you today. It's given to you. It's a gift. It's the only gift that you have right now. And the only appropriate response is gratefulness. If you do nothing else but to cultivate that response to the great gift that this unique day is, if you learn to respond as if it were the first day in your life and the very last day, then you will have spent this day very well. Begin by opening your eyes and be surprised that you have eyes you can open. That incredible array of colors that is constantly offered to us for pure enjoyment. Look at the sky. We so rarely look at the sky. We so rarely note how different it is from moment to moment with clouds coming and going. We just think of the weather. And even of the weather, we don't think of all the many nuances of weather. We just think of good weather and bad weather. This day, right now, it's unique weather. kind that will never exactly in that form come again. The formation of clouds in the sky will never be the same that is right now. Open your eyes, look at that. Look at the faces of people whom you meet. Each one has an incredible story behind their face. A story that you could never fully fathom. Not only their own story, but the story of their ancestors. We all go back so far. And in this present moment, on this day, all the people you meet, all that life from generations and from so many places all over the world flows together and meets you here like a life-giving water if you only open your heart and drink. Open your heart to the incredible gifts that civilization gives to us. You flip a switch and there is electric light. You turn a faucet and there is warm water and cold water and drinkable water. It's a gift that millions and millions in the world will never experience. So these are just a few of an enormous number of gifts to which we can open your heart. And so I wish you that you will open your heart to all these blessings and let them flow through you. That everyone whom you will meet on this day will be blessed by you. Just by your eyes, by your smile, by your touch, just by your presence. Let the gratefulness overflow into blessing all around you. And then it will really be a good day.
Love that. I love that. I love that it says just by meeting somebody on the street, just with your smile or your eyes, you can make the difference. So thank you, Clint. It's all you.
Yeah. Oh, so beautiful. You know, listening to that, I was just thinking already this morning, what are the things that you like, kindnesses or moments of love, expressions, something that you can be grateful for this morning? I just want people to put it in the chat. As that was playing, I was looking in the airport right now. I have this mung soup and my mom, before I left on the airplane, she packaged it up in this Tupperware for me, my mung soup. I heard Jaina and everyone talking about mung soup. And it's one of the things I'm so grateful for. She was worried I wasn't gonna get it through. And I thought, oh, I'm gonna just see what's possible. So when they put it on the carrier, they actually pulled my bags aside and said, no, you can't take this. And I said, no, I'm on a special diet. I need this specific soup. And so they said, okay, we'll just test it for you. And they just put it through. So like, that's something I'm grateful for. I'm also grateful for, I just was scanning through the people on this call and feeling so much love for each of you and for what we're about to experience. What if today you have that moment in which you learn one secret, one ancient secret, which can change your life forever. You have something that touches your heart, something maybe you've even heard in the past, but you see it with new eyes and you see yourself with new eyes. So in the chat, just go ahead and put something that you're already grateful for that happened today. Some moment in which someone touched your heart with love or something, just something from today already that you're grateful for. You just put that in the chat. As it's coming up, the very first thing we want to share is last week we talked about how can you turn your biggest trials into your biggest blessings. And we shared some of Dr. Naram's secrets for how to do that. how did he do that? And I just want to hear real quick, anyone that has applied from last week, some of those principles, those secrets that Dr. Ram did, and what happened as a result in your life. So you can just either raise your, like on the little icon where it says just basically reaction, you can raise your hand, or you can unmute yourself. Maybe Jaina and Connie, you can look through and see if anyone's raising their hand that we want to call on. I think I'd actually like to start with, Amruta. Amruta, would you unmute yourself and share about how did you turn your biggest trial into something that now is not only a blessing for you, but for other people? Are you? There we go. We can see you, Amruta. Perfect.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you and we can see your beautiful face.
Oh, thank you. So I 3 weeks back, something very terrible happened in my life. I failed in an exam that was supposed to be determining my future career, my dream career. So it was, it meant so much to me to do well in this exams. And when I couldn't do well, and when I failed at it, and um, it really made me feel so worse, to the point where I woke up every single day after that, feeling so burdened, heavy, and feeling like why am I even living this life? That sort of pain, because I've been trying so hard to clear that exam, and when I fail again, um, and in India we have this pressure from the relatives to do well in the exams, and when you don't do well, you have this whole society that stands against you, and they talk different things about you, and it was so hard for me to handle all of that pressure from the society, and more than all of that, the main thing that bothered me so much was the fact that I really hope that I would do well. And when you expect something to happen so much and then it doesn't happen, it I just can't explain what that meant to me. Um, it was so hard for me to handle. So every single day when I woke up, I just didn't even want to live. That it was that level of pain, and I was living through all of that, and nobody except my close family knew the sort of pain I was going through, and every single moment, the constant thought that kept running in my head was, I'm worthless. That 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 kept running in my head, because what happens when you fail at something again and again, you start feeling worthless. You start feeling like you're not capable of doing it. So I started feeling so worthless about myself, and I already have this health issue of this skin disease, where I'm already feeling so low about myself for how I look and all that. So when I'm already having this low self-esteem, and on top of that, when I fail at something that I valued so much in my life, and I fail at it again, that really took a huge toll on my mental health. And I just can't describe how much pain that I went through in those 3 weeks.
Real quick,
Literally.
Amruta, so grateful you're sharing. I just want to just honor you're sharing something so much from your heart. And, just so you know you're not alone as you're sharing this, I just want to see, you can actually just raise your hand. Who's ever had a moment where you felt worthless? Where you wondered about your own worth? I don't know, Amruta, if you can see this. Maybe, Cornelia, can you make it so it's the screen with all the pictures just for a second, where you turn it to gallery? Amruta, just look at all the people raising their hand. Actually, I see pretty much everybody raising their hand. So I want to let you know that we're with you and we understand and we feel you. So now, Cornelia, if you can turn it back to just so we can see Amruta. Amruta, what happened in those moments? Can you describe what you were feeling, and then what did you do, and How did it shift?
So what happened was, I as I told you, I was feeling so worthless about myself, and every single moment I was feeling so low about myself, to the point where I even thought about taking my life. You know, it was that level of pain where I even felt like taking my life, because I didn't even feel worthy enough to live, and I didn't feel like I would, you know it was so much pain. That's how I can describe it. So one fine day, when I was in this level of pain, I just couldn't tolerate it anymore. I was already in contact with Dr. Giovanni. I was seeking his help for my mental health, and he has been helping me so much. He's such a loving person. I've never met someone like him. So he has already been helping me so much. So that day when I was feeling so low, I sent him a long message describing my situation and feeling, explaining him how I'm feeling and everything. I sent him the message, and I think he was busy in his clinic, so he didn't view it immediately. He only saw it that night. So I sent that message in the afternoon, and the same day, the evening, I was just I logged into Facebook, and as soon as I logged in, I saw a post from Clint's FB page, and Clint had posted a live, and it was about a cooking. It was some recipe that he had shared. He was cooking with some person who was sharing who was sharing a wonderful recipe. So I actually didn't expect anything from that video. I just felt like, okay, he's done something in this, so let me just watch it. That was all that I thought in my head. So as I was watching it, towards the end of that video, Clint, he said something that, that really completely changed something in me. It was like a miracle. It was like an, that aha moment that people call. So Clint was saying that he was talking about self-love, and he was saying, like, uh, you should not only you know check your diet, what you eat for your body. You should also uh, check the kind of thoughts and the what thoughts you feed your mind. That is also a form of love. um, so he was talking something about that, and that really made me that really that made me think about how many years I had spent uh, you know feeling worthless and hurting myself again and again with all the thoughts that I had. And when I asked myself this question, was I doing that? Um, was I thinking good thoughts? Was I really feeding good thoughts to my mind? I know I'm in strict diet. I know I'm taking Dr. Naram's diet, and I'm only eating specific sorts of food that is good for me. But am I really thinking the kind of thoughts that is good for me? But at that moment, I completely realized that for a very long time in my life, everything that I kept thinking about was uh, was bad things about myself, was feeling low and feeling worthless, and especially when I failed again, that went to a different level. That the intensity of me feeling so low went to a different level. I was literally hurting myself. Literally, I was even I was even proceeding to hurt myself. So it was that level of pain. So that moment I felt this compassion for myself. I really felt, I you know I felt like I pitied myself. Really, I don't know if anybody can understand it. when when I hurt myself for so many years, and that has actually led me to the skin disease in the first place, and even after that I am hurting myself just because I failed at something. And I don't know, I just, that moment I had this compassion come over me, and I felt like I don't want to hurt myself anymore. I've done that for so many years, and would I do that to another person? I wouldn't do that to another person. So I just felt this compassion for myself, and right after that, a big shift happened within me, and I stopped thinking negative. I stopped feeling worthless about myself, and the next morning when I woke up, I didn't have any feelings of heaviness or burden, or every morning when I was waking up for the past 3 weeks, I was having just so much heaviness in my heart, and I was feeling so terrible. But that day, the next morning when I woke up, I didn't have any of those feelings. I was completely at peace with myself, and my heart was full of love for myself. And I don't know how it really happened. Just that one statement that Clint shared in that FB life about feeding good thoughts to your mind, how that is also an act of self love. Just that one statement made me think deeply about what I was doing to myself for all these years, and made me feel so much compassion for myself. And after that, it's been like a week, or it's been like 8 or 9 days now, and every single day I wake up feeling completely okay and completely at peace with myself. And every single moment I'm feeling so much love for myself. I'm not hurting myself. And a couple days back when I went to meet my psychologist, and she was so surprised to know that just 3 weeks back when I went to her, I was in a completely bad state. I was taking this all these psychiatric drugs, and I was in a very horrible state. And a couple days back when I went to meet her, I was totally all right. And she was so curious what happened in that 1 week that led to this change. So I told her about watching Clint's video and realizing how realizing about self love and how important it is and all that. So she really encouraged me in that journey, and she also helped me to love myself more. She's started a therapy for me to help me to love myself more, which is a good thing, because I'm already on that journey. And when she's also helping me on that, that was a very happy news for me. And beyond all of this, the best thing that happened was I was on antidepressants. I was taking antidepressants for the past 3 weeks, because of all the thoughts that I was having. And I had to go there. I've never went to a psychiatrist's office ever before. This was the first time in my life I went to a mental health center and I met a psychiatrist. And I didn't really like those psychiatrists, because I was I felt like they weren't so empathetic about my situation. I don't know why, but it was I felt so worse every time I went to a psychiatrist. And all that they could do was prescribe me those psychiatric drugs, and that really didn't help me. So the one of the best things that I think that happened was, now I'm completely off the antidepressants. I don't take it anymore, and without having to take all of it, I'm completely all right, and I'm completely feeling I don't know how to describe the lightness and the good feelings that I'm having, that I'm feeling now. And so the
Wow, that is so amazing, Amrita. I just wanted, we could all just give her some love. We kind of
Can
have
we
this
all
thing that we
unmute
do.
and do that? Can we all
Yeah.
unmute and just do that? Oh my
Just
gosh. Amruta, I love you and I'm with you. Everybody unmute and share your love
I
for her.
adore you, Amruta. You are not
Yay,
you
Amruta, thank you,
are
thank you.
awesome, Amruta.
thank you so much.
Love you, Amruta.
You hardworking.
Peace and love to you,
Brilliant.
Amruta.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
brilliant
Our love.
Thank you.
Oh, so beautiful. I want to say, Amrita, Amrita, would it be okay if I share something kind of from the beginning of our journey that's maybe a little personal? Would it be okay if I share how you first connected with me versus what we just saw right now? I don't know if you can unmute yourself, Amruta, but if you could just unmute yourself, and do I have permission to just share a little bit about the context? Let's see here. You were muted by the host, Amruta, so you have to unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can I share about how you first contacted me?
How I first contacted you?
Yeah. No,
That was
can I share that story through your brother's
yeah.
account?
Yeah,
Okay,
you
so
can share it.
this is why it's so amazing, why I just got so emotional, watching Amruta, because if you grow up in India and you have vitiligo and you have white spots on your face, sometimes you feel so insecure. You don't know if you're going to get married. You don't know, you get kind of anxious when you're around people that are they judging you. So the first time Amruta contacted me, she didn't even contact me as herself. She went through her brother's Facebook account and contacted me and just started seeing what would Dr. Clint respond and how would he respond. She had that level of shyness. Finally, after I met her, she came to meet Dr. Naram. We took her pulse and did stuff. Then she contacted me through her own account and admitted that actually this was her. And so then she said, but she would only join Zoom calls if she was not visible. This on just 2 weeks, it was the first time that she unmuted herself and had courage to show her face and be seen. And now when she shares her story, and when we just see that we have this gift of you being on the planet, Amruta, and just sharing your light and feeling good about yourself and confident, it makes me so, so grateful. So grateful for Dr. Naram, you know, for sharing these ancient secrets that bless our lives. And as a result, it becomes contagious healing. And who knows how many hearts you've changed on this call and will continue to change, Amruta, by doing the beautiful things that you're doing. So I just want to thank you. And amazing. You know, a lot of people on the chat were just sending you so much love. And actually, speaking about Dr. Naram's ancient secrets, one of his main ancient secrets that he taught me and implanted in my head, we're at the university in Berlin, where we're teaching doctors from all over the world. And at one point, one of the doctors started to feel the same way you felt, Amruta, like they'd failed. And this guilt and this real being hard on themselves. And Dr. Naram, you know, kind of like slapped him on the head and said, my master taught me there is no such thing as failure. There's only feedback. You know? And he would just emphasize there is no such thing as failure, only feedback. And I see many people in the chat are reminding us of that. So Amruta, we love you. So grateful you're here. You know, as you're speaking, I'm thinking of the email that I sent out this week and the really tender story that happened for me this week with my niece, Ashlyn. And Ashlyn, are you on the call? Could you unmute yourself? I just really...
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah. As you're hearing Amruta speak, what was going through your mind and heart?
I thought that I've been through the same exact thing, and I know how hard that is, and I'm so proud of her, of how strong she is.
Can you, first of all, I'm so honored to have these beautiful, powerful, dynamic young women join us and share their wisdom. Isn't it such a gift, you know? And we need you, and we need you at your fullest expression. So we're not only here to love you, but we're here to learn from you. We want to learn from you. You're on this planet as such a gift to us. And so, Ashlyn, maybe you could share with us some of what your journey's been like the last couple months, last couple weeks, and what's happened in the last couple days for you.
Yeah, so first I just want to thank you, Clint, because you're the whole reason I'm here. I'm here in Utah right now. I live in Texas, but I'm here in Utah right now. And so I just want to thank you for getting me here. So I have been battling some pretty hard depression. And for the past 2 weeks have been really hard for me to get out of bed, to eat, to do all the basic things. And then on top of that, I had schoolwork that I just couldn't get done. I just didn't have the motivation to do anything. And I was struggling a lot with wanting to be here. And so in a miraculous turn of events, I ended up here in Utah. And then I ended up going to my other Uncle Gerald's event with Clint all week. And that has been really amazing. I've felt like my whole life, there was something broken in me. There was something that I needed to bring into my life that needed to fix me. And so this week, one of the big things that I've learned is that I'm not broken and that I don't need to be fixed. And something they really focus on is that everything you already need is inside you right now. All the love, all the strength, all the joy you need is already inside of you right now. And so through that, I was just able to learn that I wasn't broken and that I was whole and I was perfect as my self. And another thing I struggle with is not feeling like I'm strong enough to handle life and all the things that's in it. And so we did this arrow thing where you write your biggest fear on the arrow and you put the arrow against your neck and someone else is holding the other side of it, and you walk and you break the arrow with your neck, and like the pointy part is on your neck. And so when my uncle started to explain what we were going to do, my brain was just like shooting out thoughts that I wasn't going to be able to, I wasn't mentally strong enough to do this. I knew it was all mental, but I didn't think that I was in a right place where I would be able to do this. And so I just started getting really emotional while he was just like explaining everything, because I didn't think I would be able to do it. And so that was the fear I wrote down, was that I'm going to fail because I'm not strong enough. And
real quick, Ashlyn, again, I want to just thank you for opening your heart and sharing so vulnerably, man. I wasn't expecting to get so, even my heart to crack open so much, but I just want to open it so you see how many people, as you're listening to Ashlyn, have ever felt that same way, that I'm not strong enough, that I'm not strong enough to do whatever's in front of me, or I'm not enough. Just raise your hand if you've ever felt that way. And, everyone's raising their hand. I don't know if you can see that, Ashlyn, but pretty much everyone feels that same way. And so please tell us what happened.
Yeah, so we stayed our name, and then our fear, and then our new belief that will help us break through that fear and get through our goal. And as I like had the arrow on my throat, and I just started crying, like when I told my belief that I wasn't strong enough and that I was going to fail because of that. And then I told myself like out loud to everyone that I was absolutely strong enough, and then I just walked right through and I broke that arrow. And that was just kind of like, I'm like physically strong enough, but I'm also like mentally and emotionally strong enough, and it's not something I need to fix because it's not broken, and I am strong enough to do anything. Oh,
I don't know if you can see this now, but this is right after she broke the arrow. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. Let me see if I can share one more picture from that. Oh man, so beautiful. Oh yeah, here we go. I wonder if I can even, here, it's loading right now, but I'll share this moment here. This is the moment when we face our fear. She had this arrow to her neck, and as she started to speak, just the emotion was there. And then as soon as she broke through, on the other side was the truth. And in the truth, like all of a sudden, so many people were surrounding her and hugging her and just loving on her. And then this is the end result here. Let's see if I can load this picture. Here's her victorious, me and my brother Gerald, and her, look at that smile. So fun. Oh, so beautiful. So Ashlyn, what's the truth? What is the truth for you, and what's the truth that you want us to remember whenever we feel that way?
That I am, and that you all are absolutely strong enough to handle everything and more that you're gonna run into in this life, and that you can do anything, and everything you already need is already inside of you right now, and it's just your job to bring that out of you.
Yeah, beautiful. One of the side benefits of when Ashlyn became vulnerable to share her process was she was the youngest one in the room, but all the adults melted. And as she opened up, it shifted so many people's hearts. And I think that's one of the hardest things we can do, is to share when we need help or when we're struggling. It's one of the most scary things to do, especially for a lot of people on the call who are healers or leaders or coaches, But as we reach out to each other and we say, I need help, sometimes that's when the biggest healing happens, not only for us, but for others. And I saw so many people, it was like a contagious healing, In fact, one person on the call ended up buying Ashlyn 10 tickets for the next event. He spent $97 per ticket, so almost $1,000 worth of tickets, so she could invite as many of her friends as possible to the next event, so that way they could shift their lives as well. And she posted on Instagram and already has people interested. It's so beautiful. One thing I want to say that Ashlyn said as well is, all you need is within you now. You are strong enough. How Dr. Naram said it, and that I quoted in the book, he says, Aditi Devo Bhava. It's one of the main principles of this whole miracle experiment game. You treat the unexpected guest as if God himself or herself has come to visit you. That means everything that enters your life is a gift for you, you know, and when you see it as, oh, why is this coming? This person coming, this experience coming. Why is this emotion coming, this feeling coming? And you think, what is the gift in it? And oftentimes our lives are out of alignment with who you're born on this planet to be, who you're meant to be. And so when you let go of those things that are no longer serving you, it makes room for the things that you are uniquely here to do. One of the things I love Dr. Ram would always ask is, what do you want? He'd say that to everyone. What do you want? It's an important part of the healing. And it's one of the secrets for how you can turn any of your big trials into your biggest blessing. So Ashlyn, I just want to ask you, what do you want?
I want to be happy, and I want to spread that happiness to everyone on this planet.
Yeah, beautiful. And you are doing that already. Amruta, can you unmute yourself? In a moment, we're going to go to one of the adults that was in the room, and I'll ask him some questions about how Ashlyn's story impacted him. But Amruta, what are you thinking and feeling as you're hearing Ashlyn speak? And what words of wisdom or advice or love do you have to share with her?
You know, when I watched her live, like yesterday or day before yesterday, I had this sense that she was also going through the similar kind of problem like me. You know, I even commented in your FB live that I'm so excited about listening to her story, because in my heart I felt like she was also going through something similar to me. You know, her realizations and everything felt so similar to mine. So I'm so happy to hear her story. And you know, it gives me a sense that I'm not alone in this. You know, there are so many people who are going through the same thing as me, and we are all healing together. You know, that sort of you know, I felt good hearing her.
So beautiful. You know, the very first quote in the book, Ancient Secrets of a Master Healer, is, I didn't come to teach you, I came to love you, and love will teach you. And through your love, Ashlyn, and through your love, Amruta, we're gaining so much. I just want you to have a reflection of how much it means to us that you're doing what you're doing, sharing what you're sharing. Actually, maybe Nia, could you, or Verenia, could you unmute yourself and just share your reaction, what your thoughts as you're listening to these two powerful women, two powerful young women share from their hearts these experiences?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Uh-oh, am I there? Hi. Wow. I'm in touch with a lot of youth, and particularly with young women. And it's so, the thing that came to me was that as we allow ourselves the self-compassion enough to be who we are and to acknowledge that, it takes a lot of self-forgiveness to move into that space of recognition that we do have everything we have inside. And every time they open their hearts enough to receive that and to step from that place, it heals everything. And with the youth, they're laying the foundation for the future of the rest of the world by doing it and by being that. And so I'm incredibly encouraged, inspired. I've been someone who's been really, really powerful and strong in my life. And yet there are those times when I have felt really full of self-judgment and fear. And to see young women like that be willing to step into it, into the knowing of the love that they are, even encourages me now. You know, we all have those moments. And to see the youth doing it, like they're going to build their lives moving forward from this foundation. And I'm sorry, I'm getting very, very choked up here because I've been through it. And I don't stay in it as long as I did when I was younger, but we all have moments of moving through it, and now you have the tools. So Dr. Clint, thank you for offering that up. And to the young women, just thank you for having the courage to step in it and stand in it, because you are laying foundations for the future of this planet and for the people. And in your beingness of it, you're encouraging everyone around you. So just, I'm immensely grateful for everyone on this call and for your guys' willingness to share that. So thank you.
Oh, so beautiful. You know, at one point on one of the calls, um, there was a beautiful moment where Arlene had this image or a picture in her mind of this web of love being spread all over the planet with these miracle calls, you know, and as people are applying these ancient secrets and experiencing themselves as divine, you know, seeing the divine in you and in everything around you. And as these calls are going on, and I've seen like, I just love, Amruta's calling from India. Right now, she's from Texas, but in Utah. You know, Verenia is calling from Mexico. Right now, I'm in Phoenix, about to go to Sedona. And all of you who are listening to this live or this recording, it's no accident you're listening now. And as you lean into that love, what's possible in your life? What's possible that you maybe never imagined before? And how can you turn the biggest trial that you faced into one of your biggest blessings? And so I want to hear from a couple more of you. And specifically right now, I'm going to go to JJ, who is in the audience and had his own remarkable transformation. First of all, JJ, I want you to share, what impact did Ashlyn have on the room of all those powerful people? I mean, a lot of them are entrepreneurs and have big businesses or done a lot of impact, but something about her being in the room, what impact did it have?
Hey Clint, how you doing? Thank you guys for having me. Yeah, as far as Ashlyn's impact, it really was eye-opening for a lot of people, specifically myself, just to see somebody that has so much power and proximity to her, like the family that she's in, you know, with yourself, Gerald, and everybody that she has access to, and to still know and feel that her herself can go through the emotions that she's dealing with, you know, privately, and still be surrounded by so much magic, so much power, so much greatness, but still not be able to find it within herself to know how to get out of that personal emotion. And that really resonated with me, and it touched my heart, because it showed me, since I work a lot with the youth as well, it showed me that it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter where you're at. It doesn't matter what you've been through. It doesn't matter who you're around. It really just matters that anybody, by listening, you know, and by truly paying attention and being in tune with somebody, you can see the level of pain that they might be hiding from the world. And being in the industry that I'm in, you tend to really see the facade, the wall, the image, and the persona that everybody puts on for the regular world. And if you don't pay attention, you might miss somebody, and that missing somebody could cost somebody's life, you know. And so when she stood up and she spoke, and I connected, and it resonated with me, it just reminded me how important it is to always be able to see past your own self, and what you have access to, or what you may know. You can still fall into that dark space in your heart and in your mind that might send you into a trajectory that you might not find a way out without a guide.
Oh, so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. Now, you had your own experience, your own healing transformation, where I think it's just so amazing. Maybe you can share a little bit about what was the pain or the struggle or the trial that you were facing, and then what's happened in the last week for you.
Well, for me personally, you know, I've spent the last 7-8 years as a performer dancing for Cirque du Soleil in Las Vegas, representing the Michael Jackson family in the Michael Jackson 1 show. And at the end of my career 2 years ago, I had an accident on stage, which pretty much was the end of my career, to where doing a flip on stage, I landed backwards to where I got into a pretzel position, where my legs bended from underneath me and my back was underneath. So it's like, instead of like putting your hands and your knees on the floor, imagine that, but backwards, but not intentionally. And it ended up rupturing my L4 and my L5 disc. And for the last 2 years, I've lived in a chronic state of pain on on a level 10 and above, to where I no longer live excuse me, let me correct that, lived a normal life, to where I couldn't do something so simple as sitting down on the toilet to go to the bathroom, bending over to touch my toes, leaning over the sink to brush my teeth, getting out of bed on my own. And worst of all would be either coughing or sneezing, to where I knew that any one cough, any one sneeze would pretty much cripple me down to the floor, to where I would find myself unable to move for an hour or more at a time, or where I would find myself doing an army crawl just around my house, and calling out of work and not being able to see my friends, and being miserable inside. And the breakthrough that ended up happening by the grace of God, by the miracle hands of this beautiful man that we're all here, Clint, you and Dr. Naram, and his teachings and the blessings that he was able to pass down to you. And I can say honestly, and this is no BS for anybody, Clint, you invited me to come on this community to just share my experience. And I was quick to do it, because I still to this day don't know how it happened. Well, okay, the physical how, it was Clint helped me, but the actual physical how of it, I don't know. I don't know what that is. And all I know is in about 3 to 4 minutes time of Clint doing his magic, the first day I went from the first time going from a level 10 to about a level 6, 7, to where I was able to touch my toes for the first time in over 2 years, to where I could actually do some type of movement that it didn't cripple me, and I got a chance to work with him a second time, and taking in his advice, doing everything that he said, starting to take this monk soup and do the pressure points, and taking these herbal supplements that he's gifted me with. And to today, I can sneeze and laugh. I now, like, for the first time, my girlfriend has to normally push me out of bed, or she physically has to massage my legs and my back and maneuver me on an hour process to start my day. And now I'm jumping out of bed, and I'm actually getting angry at her because she's taking too long to get out of bed, and I'm actually able to move and jump, and now I'm at a place where it's like I can feel it. I'm like really at a zero pain level, but just with traces of the pulsation feeling of where my discs are ruptured. But now with the visualizations that I do, it got to a point where I don't want to recognize when people ask me what pain level I'm at. I don't want to acknowledge it. I don't want to think about it, because it makes me think of where I was. And I don't want to think of where I was. I want to think of where I'm going, and now I know I don't feel it. I don't understand it. And I don't want to try to understand it, because I don't want to mess my mind up with the how, but more so of where I'm going and what is this going to allow me to do now. So Dr. Clint, thank you, for helping me give my spirit, my love. And I'm sitting here, I'm from Las Vegas. I'm also in Utah. We're on our way home to drive back to Vegas. But I told my girlfriend and my best friend, I was like, we got to go to Park City, Utah. We're going to go look at beauty. And we're sitting here in our car, like underneath snow. And I missed what it was like to acknowledge and be present in the beauty of just life. And you helped give me that. And I'm happy. If you can't sense it, if you can't feel it, I hope you do, because man, it's in here, and you helped me. You really did help me. So thank you so much.
Oh, so beautiful. You're getting so much love from people in the chat. And since your best friend, your girlfriend are there, can you just introduce them real quick, and we can just see their smiley faces as well?
So this is my best friend, my business partner, my protege. This is Jonathan Rodriguez, and this is my beautiful girlfriend and future wife to be, Yuli Cardenas. So yeah, they have been a big integral part of not only my a helping hand, but my rehabilitation as well as my support system. And it wasn't until you called them up on stage that I really truly realize, you know, how much love there is in this unity that we call our family, our chosen family. And because of that, it really was at that moment I knew that for me personally, on a relationship level, I knew that I could see myself with this woman. I knew I wanted to marry her, and seeing her break down from watching me in so much pain every single day, that it went from I wanted to I know it's already happening. And this is my family.
Oh my goodness, what a beautiful, beautiful love story, you know? One of the secrets, one of the most powerful secrets Dr. Ram teaches about how do you turn your biggest trial into your biggest blessing is don't focus on what you don't want, but focus on what you do want. And so many of us are so occupied with what is that pain or that stress, it's hard to divert our attention to what we do want. And it was so beautiful, JJ, as I saw you, as the cleared away, as that pain cleared away, and as the possibility started to open up, more love just infused in you. And in that space of love, it just became obvious. And on that Facebook Live, when you said you wanted to marry, just 1 second. I think I just had an interruption come, but on that Facebook Live, when you said you wanted to marry Yuli, it made me want to cry. So I'm just so happy for you guys and so grateful you took time to share your inspiring story. I know it's helped a lot of people already,
Dude.
and it'll continue to bless millions and millions of people as you create what you want in this world for your own family, your children that will come, for the youth that you'll inspire, for all the people who will be blessed as a result of your power and your strength. You have something else you want to share?
Actually, real quickly, I do, and if you wouldn't mind, I know that my my boy wants to express how exciting it was for him to watch me get out of bed with the video I sent you this morning, because
Dude, I wrote you on Instagram because you're just a phenomenal man. Like, you are literally the magic man of the century. He did like 100 things that he would have never done just a week ago. He jumped out of bed. He was up running. He put the whole air mattress away on his own. He's rolling and folding and laying and jumping, and he sneezed twice today. He sneezed twice, and there was no. And we, you know, and remember how you were saying, like, you know, it's like the little things are such an activity. You were saying like sneezing is a great activity. He sneezed twice, and all me and Yuli in the car were just like, congratulations, congratulations, you sneezed today with no problem. And then we asked him, did you feel that? He said, no. He just started laughing. He's like, I feel great. I don't want to acknowledge it, but I'm just happy. And you gave him that gift, and to watch him this morning was such an excitement. Thank you so much for giving me my best friend back in all the ways that I need him to be a part of what we're doing together. Like, his mobility is just watching him this morning really be his authentic self and roll around and jump and get up and move and then rush us to leave the house when usually it takes him the longest. It was an experience. And thank you for giving us that gift. It means so much to us.
So beautiful. Yuli, what do you want to share? Please.
I was telling him like 10 minutes ago, like, I'm so happy. Look at this smile. Look at this smile. Because he's happy. I mean, more happy, happier.
But it really does come to what you said was focus on what you want and what you really don't want, or rather than what you don't want. And I think the thing that has taken place for me now, just anybody that's ever been healed by you, can be healed by you, or will be healed by you. It really, the mental capacity of it plays such a huge role on focusing on what you do want. And now that anytime that I create an action, whether I go to the bathroom, whether I get out of bed, whether I sneeze or whatever, I now, like I told you and everybody at the event, I focus really on like this Iron Man from the movie, this like fort of strength going around my vertebrae and reinforcing it right before I do anything. And now it's just it's a routine, a habit, a practice. And that's what's helping me get through all these movements, because I'm focusing on what I want. And if it's okay with you, because I know we have to run, I don't want to take up any more of your time, but Clint, with your permission, can I say something to Amruta? I don't know if I'm saying her name wrong, the beautiful lady that was sharing her story. Is that okay?
Yeah, you can share
Okay.
something on Ruta, and then afterwards, Linda, who is in the audience, I just want you to also share what your response was. So Linda, just get ready to share. But please, JJ, share with Amruta.
But for Amruta, are you still in the community? I hope you are. If you are, can you please just acknowledge us, because this goes to you and anybody else that's listening.
I am here.
Beautiful. Okay. Hi, darling. You're beautiful. I feel you. I see your light. And it just, I'm sitting here in awe just by your story, because I had that similar story of that failure. And when I heard you say that you just the feeling of failure and from an exam spiraled you to a mental state of what you expressed. Thank you for your vulnerability. Thank you for showing up. Thank you. And I honor you for being who you are. And I want to share something with you that may help you and anybody else that's listening, because fear is a real thing for a lot of people. And I have failed. I have succeeded so many times. I have hit rock bottom and come back up to where I now can say that I'm a master of bouncing back from hitting rock bottom. And one of the things, if I can give you one little nugget to help you from this point forward, and I know that what people, the whole societal acceptance from different cultural differences, you know, by not being accepted if you do fail on something so simplistic in my culture that would be seen as it's just an exam, to where your culture, it's so extreme in your culture, you know, you can take this if it serves you or leave it if it doesn't, but it's just a level of fear when it comes to dealing with failure. And if you switch your mindset, I love failing. I accept, I look forward to failing, because I grow from my failures. I excel from my failures. When I now fail, because I won't get into it, but from all the times that I've failed, from being in and out of jail, from being that suicidal kid, from doing the drugs, from being on the streets, from being that kid that every single person and every parent would ever tell you to get the hell away from and not be around, I now know that all those failures led me to be here to actually be able to deliver this message to people like yourself, you know, and within failure, I turned that fear into an acronym. And please forgive me for this verbiage. I mean no disrespect to anybody, but that fear to me means fuck everyone and redo it. And whoever sees you as a failure, whoever expresses their condemns emotions that you're not enough, you know what? Say, okay, so what? Because guess what? I keep growing. So no matter what you fail in, no matter what you fear in, see it with excitement. Approach it with hope, and know that on the other side of that, what you're going to get is so much greater than the feeling that you're going to sit in and living in fear, because you may have failed something. And everything that I have failed in today, when I now see it 41 years later, when I now see all my failures, because I failed in something, I was able to succeed in something else. Because I didn't pass an exam, because I didn't book a gig, or because I didn't get a job, I got a better one. But you don't see it in the moment. And now I have this knowledge to where now in my life at 41 years of age going forward, I can say, bring on the failure. Bring on what I missed. I didn't get that job. Hell yeah, because the next one is coming. I didn't get that relationship. Look what I got. You know, I didn't get that job. I'm making more money. When you shift that perspective, your life changes, because failures are the only people that stop. And if you don't stop, you can never fail. So I hope that works for you. I hope that serves you or anybody else listening. I love you all the way from Las Vegas and from Utah. Thank you, Clint, so much for allowing me and my family to come onto your community. And if there's anything that I could ever do to serve absolutely anybody, I know you. If I don't know you, it does not matter. If you're part of Clint's vibration and network, please don't hesitate to ask. I love you all.
Oh, so beautiful. You're getting so much love from everyone. I just want to say, you know, you made a good point about a family of choice. And a lot of people on this call, some of them, it's your first time on this call with us. I just want to welcome you with our heart. And I want to say you came into a great family. JJ, J-Truth, Yuli, you're so much a part of our family now. And we're excited to see you more and more as you're starting your journey and starting the Hmong soup and doing all the things. And so it's so honored to be with you. Now, today we're actually, yeah.
Hey, Clint, this is, I know you're talking about family of choice. You are, you began not of my own choice to be part of my family, but I want you to know I choose you as part of my family of choice and of genetics. And we're all here hanging out on mom's bed, like listening to you and celebrating this experience, because we got to be there when Clint healed JJ. And well, Clint won't say he healed JJ. Clint is just the conduit of healing. I'm using all these ancient technologies, and my heart was so full. And I noticed, for everyone, like, I just want to share this real quick, because this is what I learned from watching Clint do this work and having watched his journey over the last decade with Dr. Naram is Clint went from being this person of totally skeptical, totally ignorant of all of these things and skeptical of whether or not they worked. And I've watched him with absolute undeniable faith in the miracles that flow through him. And it was really interesting because I've witnessed this in so many times, like when we were in LA a couple weeks ago, and Iran is healing from being paraplegic, and Clint just has, you will walk, like he knows, he has absolute faith and all these miracles are happening. I was like, how can you say that with such faith, right? But Clint's like, very good, just like Dr. Ram used to say. And then when JJ was there, I've known JJ for a long time, and I've known he's had a little bit of pain. I didn't realize how severe it was, but when he got up there and he's at level 10 pain and he can barely bend at all, and Clint asked, what do you want? And JJ's like, I want to be on stage. I want to be inspiring thousands of people. And Clint's like, very good. Every time you say that, I hear Dr. Naram, very good. And I'm like in the back of the room. I'm like, how is this possible? Like, he's level 10 pain. He can barely, I'm like, oh, and I'm cringing because we've got our whole audience there. I'm like, oh, please work. But I'm not sure if it'll work at all. Like, I haven't gotten to that place of undeniable faith, but Clint's like, very good, right? With absolute certainty, as though he's like commanding, he's like, you will have whatever you want, no problem. And then 3 minutes later, seeing JJ bend all the way down and being able to touch the floor, part of me is like, oh, phew, it worked. But Clint's just like, of course it worked, right? Of course it worked, And for every one of us, I think that's the lesson that I just really want, to have each of us observe, to have such undeniable faith that these principles, these tools, these ancient modalities, they just work. And I think having the faith is part of this secret too. Like, it's not just the marmas, it's not just the mung bean soup, it's not just the herbs, it's that undeniable faith that says the miracles here already, the miracles happened, and we just have to allow our skepticism to get out of the way to receive it fully. So I just want to add that. Wow. And thank you, Clint, for being not only my brother of genetic divine chance because of this beautiful woman here, for my family of choice too.
Congratulations to both of you. They just had their wedding celebration of love last night, and so fun to have you join this call unexpectedly. Infuse us with so much joy. You mentioned, Dr. Naram, two of the most powerful secrets, how you turn any trial, your biggest trial and your biggest opportunity. One is believing that there's no problem on this planet that doesn't have a solution. Every problem has a solution. And second of all, Dr. Ram taught so powerfully that whatever is your problem, your heartache, your challenge, has within it the seeds of equal or greater opportunity. And when you start to have faith in those things, you start to see it unfold and all the magical, it looks like a miracle, but according to Dr. Ram, it's this ancient science that can change your life forever. Thank you so much, Gerald. Allison, you were going to say something before I cut you off?
I just wanted to say, we're actually, mom was saying this is like the other part of the miracle is just the love that it generates, right? How much love came from JJ because of that. And
everybody in the room was in absolute tears.
Oh my gosh, we're all
felt the
crying. It
love.
was so beautiful. And the next day, Clint healed a couple more people. But there was this idea that you kept ingraining in our minds, which is so powerful. It's just like, as everyone's worried about this virus and the contagious like infection that gets people sick, like let's spread contagious healing. And this idea of contagious healing is like so relevant as we talk about this, how the love just magnifies. And I was just telling Mom here about just a second, because of the healing that she had and how she started spreading this word about mung bean soup. I had obviously had mung bean soup with you, and I'm like, oh, that tastes pretty good, but I couldn't actually imagine myself like being consistent with. But because of her, and because of all the people she shared with, and because of your experience, like this week, I haven't even told Mom this, but I made a commitment to do the mung bean cleanse challenge, and we got like 30 of our other friends to do it too. So that's contagious healing.
I didn't even know about this. This is pretty amazing.
Oh, I should tell you because I need you to make it for me.
Yeah, good thing I have all the ingredients.
Amazing. In fact, I'm about to send out the email to those 30 people. And when Gerald said this, it made me want to cry. Contagious healing is so powerful. And if you want to join that challenge of this week to have only mung beans and see what happens, then just send me a message and I'll send you the instructions, the email, how to play this game, the Mung Bean Detox Challenge. It'd be an honor to share it with you. Anything else, Gerald, you want to share before I conclude this?
I just want to say let's continue to be a force of contagious healing in the world, right? Join us this week. Once again, for anyone that wants, we're going to do 7 days of the Mung Bean Cleanse Challenge. And most importantly, way beyond that is like, let's just be a contagious force of love, of joy, of abundance. Chime in the chat below if you're up for taking the challenge, and whether that challenge or not, make the commitment today that you're going to be a force of love this week.
You need to tell them all of what to do so that they don't feel all that gas and feel like they could lift a helium balloon like that.
Yep, I put it all in the instructions, Mama. Thank you for that. In the email that you'll get, you'll learn how to cook it. That if you're not making it so it's so delicious, according to Dr. Ram, you want to eat the spoon and then eat your fingers, you're not making it right. So I put those instructions so it feels really good to you. And if you have any questions, you can join us for that. Officially, this call, we were going to go 90 minutes, and we're already like pushing against the end. So what I'm going to ask is, Jana, if you can take for now, for those that can stay for just 15 minutes longer, I think there's some more people who are inspired to share that you would benefit from. Linda and Richard and Savan and a couple other people. I just want to make sure they have a chance to share. So if you can stay for 15 more minutes, and Jana, if you can just guide this part of the call and start with Linda and then the other people who want to share. I just want to say I love you. I'm with you. I'm in the airport and someone's waiting for me right now. So I'm going to be listening and enjoying it. I'm going to watch this recording as well. I just want to let you know I love you. I'm with you. I'm so grateful for Dr. Naram teaching these powerful ancient healing secrets that can totally change your life. They can turn your biggest trial into your biggest blessing. So Jana?
Thank you so much, Clint. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, just hearing these stories just makes these ancient secrets come alive. I don't know about for you guys, but it's amazing to be able to see how wow, just amazing. Anyway, well, Linda, I would love to hear from you. Can you unmute?
I have unmuted.
Awesome. It's so good to see you.
You as well. And yes, it was just truly a beautiful experience. And I already believe, but seeing so many other people believe and seeing it, Dr. Clint in action, and the joy that it brought for each and every person, including myself. I mean, it was truly a tearjerker to see from intense pain to, once again, JJ being able to live his life and be just a huge factor, because his intentions have been for the longest to impact the world and make a difference. And now he has that opportunity to do so on such a higher level. And this has brought so much consciousness. And as Gerald mentioned, everyone that's wanting to join in on the mung bean soup. People that were in the house I was in, they already went out and purchased their ingredients, so they're anxious. I brought soup with me and was able to share it, so they were like, oh my goodness, this is awesome. So everyone's all in, and I'm looking forward to seeing the total transformation.
Oh my gosh, that's so great. Well, it just sounds like you had such a great experience. So, I mean, just tell me a little bit about that. I see you beaming. I just want to hear how come you're beaming so much.
I mean, the whole experience was absolutely beautiful, amazing, spectacular, magical. Any other adjective I can possibly put towards it, that's what it has been. And the work that Gerald does with the legendary tribe and Dr. Clint, it all just intermingles, and it's once again keeping us all as one and helping us to see how much we're connected. And so I've skyrocketed to a level 10 just being a part of this and knowing there's so much more, and looking forward to being able to do my part on a whole nother level, because it's possible. And it was just love. That's the biggest thing. So much love.
I love it. Well, Linda, you are such an inspiration to so many. I mean, you just have such an incredible story, and you have so much that you give to people. You're just an amazing being yourself. I just love your soul. You're just amazing. So thank you so much for sharing, and be safe driving or going wherever you're going and going home, I'm sure. But thank you so much for sharing. I love feeling of your energy. You are so radiant today. Love it. All right. Richard, did you have something you would love to share? I love hearing from you.
Yes, I do. Last week, my friend, actually, I was talking to her, and she just said that she was in so much pain and she wanted to kill herself, end her life. And I talked to her, and, like, I'm going to just stand by your side and just help you through this, because there's no way I'm going to let this happen to you. And I asked her to take that back. And I'm just talking to her now, right now. So hope she's doing well. But also I was writing in this book, and just like all the things that are showing up. My little sister went missing just beginning of this pandemic. And the only word that we got was a text with a big K. Are you all right? And it's just K. So we didn't know if that was her, but my sister finally met her face to face this weekend. And it was just so beautiful to actually see that she's still alive and well. And is also interesting to see who comes into your life just to allow, what was that, the Pawawa? Yes.
The unexpected guest.
It is amazing to really, this working during this pandemic has been really interesting. And I got to really know my coworker, like what gift is he here to show me, because it's been really hard. And he finally told me that he's OCD, and anything that's changed just a little bit, it just completely puts him on the sideways anger and everything, right? So really got that. And he shared with me that his father had passed away, and it was his birthday that last Friday. And he just told me from his heart what was like really there. But a lot of things I wrote down what I wanted, and the magic just started showing up. My friends right now are sailing from New York down to Florida. And they called me last night, and they want me to join them. They want me to join them down in the Bahamas. And so I'll be meeting them next, probably within 6 months, but they're sailing right now. And I was really worried about them, like being caught in hurricanes and with this COVID and everything else. And they just, they've been having an amazing time. And they said the weather is perfect, and it's been just amazing. And I went to my first yoga class just yesterday, and I saw this magic that was missing in my life. And it's because I was going so hard and working and focusing on my work and stuff. And I saw the beauty of people playing, just becoming back, like doing headstands and just being playful again. And it's like, that's what I'm missing, being playful. And that's the magic. And we just have to be playing this. This whole thing is just a game, and we just have to play again. So I love you all. Thank you for letting me share. And
Oh my
a lot
gosh,
of
yes.
magic. Write it down.
Yeah.
And the magic will show up. So I love all you guys.
Oh,
Thank you.
Richard, we
Thank
so
you.
appreciate you. So appreciate your energy. You always come and speak full out. And I so appreciate the messages that you bring to this group. You are so needed here. So thank you so much. Are you going to go to Florida and meet up with your friends in the Bahamas?
I'm actually talked to them yesterday, and they're singing that song Kokomo. Come down to what's that song that goes? Anyways, they want me to meet down in Bahamas, so I'm going to be meeting them down there. So it's pretty amazing. So
That's
yes,
great.
you're doing that.
Well,
Really
good.
soon.
Well, there's your play. If you wrote it in your
There's all.
book, there's your play. Yep, you're going to be
Absolutely.
playing. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Awesome. Savan, did you have something you wanted to share?
I just basically wanted to say that obviously, listening to everybody today has been amazing. Last week was a difficult week at work for me, in terms of obviously the workload and so forth, lack of staff as well. So I basically wrote it down and I kind of said it to myself that, dear energies, please help me to get through the week and help me finish everything that's due. And somehow, for some strange reason, I found that every day I was completing the work that was meant to be done in 7 hours in about 4.5, 5 to maybe just over 5 hours, giving me enough time not only to have a break but to also go out for a walk. Just helping me heal, for kind of my back pain and whatever. And obviously through that, I'm actually now feeling better towards the weekend and ready to energize for the next week. So thank you for that.
It's so awesome. I know, Savan, I love getting your messages through the week. And Savan will check on me and he'll remind me of the tools that we're working with, and we message back and forth just a little bit. And it's so great. I love connecting with people in the group because it means that you're putting all of these things and these tools in place. And sometimes we have weeks where we have hard weeks, and just that little touch from somebody, just that little text from somebody can really change, your attitude. To be honest, Savan, oh my gosh, I wasn't going to share this story, but I think I will. We were texting back and forth. I was in the grocery store last night, and then after we got done with our conversation, I was checking out, and I got this alert on my phone, and I thought it was an Amber alert, but when I looked at it, it said, "Emergency, tornado has been spotted. Get shelter now." And then all the sirens in the area went off. Well, I'm from Utah. They don't have sirens like that. We rarely ever in Utah had tornadoes. And so I was like freaking out. And immediately I sent the text to several of the people in the group. And immediately they sent prayers and blessings to me as I was going through this crazy experience that I had never been through before. It meant the world to me. I have never met these ladies, but they were there for me. And it's the power of this group is amazing. And I really encourage you guys to interact with each other. I love seeing Lynn's posts in the chat. She just is so supportive, all the time. She's just always commenting, sending love to people. And I love this part of the community. It's an amazing thing. Is there anything else that somebody else would like to share before we end the call?
Jaina, I don't know if you'd like to share, obviously, the thought that I shared with you. in regarding of the reminder. And obviously I've sent it to Dr. Clinton, his thoughts. But I don't know, I just feel it may be right just to share it with others to see what they think.
Well, go ahead and I can't remember exactly. Go ahead and tell me what's on your mind.
So me and Jaina, well, my thought when I was doing a bit of meditation, etc., came that some people may not always have time to replay the videos and watch them, and it may be that we do a post which anybody can refer to, those that are old, those that are new coming into the game to start experiencing things, where we not only list down the principles of obviously the three principles, also the mantras that we had, and obviously any other thoughts and points, and we kind of expand on it. So it's basically a post on the group that anybody can not only go back to as a refresher, obviously share it out with others, and you just basically exchange thoughts, exchange ideas, and also exchange energy or best practices on how they find things. So yeah, that was just something that came in mind.
Yes, I think it's wonderful when we can share the posts in the group. And I do like, I've had in my mind that, we could take some of the gems of the wisdom from the calls each week and just make a little post, and then everybody can comment on it. It's such a great idea. And and that's what I love is Savan is full of ideas, and he interacts with me with different ideas. And I just love that. I'm an ideas person though. I'm always messaging Clint with ideas. I feel bad for him.
I just want to say I love it when people share ideas, because this is really it's your community and it's our community, and because of your ideas it just gets better and better and better. And so I just want to say thank you for that. I'm thinking about the time, and so I want to officially end this call just with us all together in this moment, tapping into our hearts and just feeling just, I want you to think to yourself, what's one thing that you felt or learned from today that's your takeaway, your personal takeaway, something that you felt or learned from today that you feel like will make your life better, some way in which you'll love more or be more grateful or be able to transition, seeing a problem or a trial or a stress or a heartache, and how to transition that into one of the biggest blessings in your life. So maybe just for 1 minute, we'll just be silent for 1 minute. And I just want you to reflect and go ahead and post into the chat. What's your takeaway from this week? What's your takeaway? And then we'll have just something to close with all together. And then for those that really want to stay on and share heart to heart, Jaina, maybe you and Cornelia can stay on and put people in breakout rooms. After that, for anyone who really wants to stay and in the space, explore more about how can you turn any problems into blessings, any trials into blessings. So just in this moment, just a moment of silence, just post in the chat, what's your takeaway? So powerful reading these. Love is more powerful than fear, Larry says. Feeling what a caring community we have, how blessed we are. What a chosen family chose each other. Daniel says that I'm not alone. Jennifer, that love is the answer. Kathy, contagious healing. I love it. Therese, that we're all going through the same things and that we're not alone. Carol, I want to remind us the idea of identifying the journal idea, identifying your challenge that can be turned into a blessing. Dr. Ram said, get a problem journal. When you hear a problem, get excited about it, write it down. Parna says, don't mess with your mind, how this works. Afsana, feeding positive thoughts works wonders. Arati, my takeaway today is that we're all in this together, and that failures aren't bad. In fact, Dr. Ram said there is no such thing as failure. There's only feedback. Beautiful. Helena, hope. Amruta, never stop trying. Beautiful. I just want to say I love you. I'm with you. None of us are alone. Even when those moments you think you are, even in the dark moments, there's always hope. There's always a solution. With that, whatever the problem, heartache, or challenge you face, according to Dr. Ram, has within it the seeds of equal or greater benefit. So in our Miracle Family traditional style, you can unmute yourself and you can say I love you, and I'm with you. I love you.
I love you
I love
and I'm
you
with
and
you.
I'm
I
with
love
you.
you. I'm with
I
you.
love you and I'm with you. I
Love
love
you.
you
I'm
and I'm with
with you.
you. I love you
I
and
love you
I'm
and I'm
with
with you.
you. I love you and
I'm
I'm
with
with
you.
you. I love you and I'm with you. I love you and I'm with you.
Wow.
And
Love
I'm
you.
with you.
Love you. Again, you.
Thank you.
I love you. Love you.
May peace be with all of you.
Love you and I'm with you.
Namaskar. Have a fantastic day. Namaskar.
Julie, so good to see you. We're gonna get you on. Anyone who has a question about how to make your mung delicious, you can contact Julie. I'm gonna put your name in the email. Thank you so much. All this, such a bath of love. All right, Cornelia, if you can mute everyone, and I'll just say thank you everyone for joining us. Next week we have such an amazing call plan. For now, for those that want to stay on, Cornelia, do you know how to put people in breakout rooms?
Yes, I do.
Okay. For those that want to join the Hmong Challenge, email me, clint@drnaram.com. Otherwise, see you next week. For those that want to stay, I want you in your breakout room to say, what is your takeaway from today? And what did you learn from hearing these stories? From Amruta, from Ashlyn, from JJ, from Richard, from all the people that shared their beautiful thoughts. So for whoever's still left on the call in about 2 minutes or 1 minute, actually, Cornelia, are you ready to cue that up?
Yeah.
Okay, so just go ahead and create the breakout rooms and you'll click on your screen and I give everyone about 2 minutes to share. And then when you come back, Jana will just do some final sharings with everyone. I'll already be in the car headed to Sedona, but I love you and I'm with you. And then Cornelia or Jana or Cornelia, you can stay in the main room. And if anyone doesn't go for whatever reason they can't, then you can just ask those questions and allow everyone to share in this room.
Awesome.
And then I'd say after about maybe, depending on the rooms, after maybe 10 minutes, you just bring everyone back.
Great.
So beautiful. Okay. Jana, so glad you encouraged us to do this call. So beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cornelia. Thank you, Jana. Thank you, everybody. Love you, with you.
Love you, with you.
Okay.
Great.
See, we still have a few people that haven't joined. Let me see.
Well, great. Would you guys, is there somebody here that would like to share what their takeaway was from today?
Let's see. I can probably because we have a few people here and I could kind of move them into one of the other rooms.
Okay,
what do you
that
think?
would be great. Yeah, that would be awesome.
Okay, move to, let's see. Where do we have 6 and 4?
So how did you guys like the call today? What was your takeaway? Barbara, do you want to unmute and share with us?
I'm so inspired by the stories and by the sharing of Amruta and JJ. So touching. It's so touching. And I think they're very, very brave people. And not only by undergoing these things, but also because of their sharing. And I often have things which I feel I cannot share with other people. And why? Because it's not always easy to show how weak you are. And then sometimes, like this week, I had something, a trailer hit my car and ran away. I was not around, and when I came out of the store, somebody told me, "Have you heard the trailer hit your car? It's that trailer." And I was looking at that trailer. It was a very big one, and it was raining very hard. And suddenly it was like somebody pushed me. I don't know who, but I was pushed toward that trailer, and I ran in the rain, in the hard rain. I ran to the trailer, but the trailer was leaving. But then, like, there was some help, I don't know, because the trailer was stuck on the road. Somebody was parking in the car, so he could not pass that car, and he had to stop. So I banged on the back of the trailer, but he didn't came out of the car. So I ran and I banged on his door, and he didn't come out. And I don't know what happened to me, but I then immediately jumped in front of that trailer.
Oh my gosh.
in the hard rain, and I was totally wet. But I said to that man, "Come out." I called the police. And he came out. And he said, "Are you crazy? What is this?" And I said, "You banged my car." And you know, the crazy thing is, because it's only material, how is it possible that I wanted to stand in front of his car only for that material thing? But he came to my car and he said, "I didn't know I did this thing." And I asked, why were you running away? And he could not answer, but he was a foreigner, and I was lucky he could speak English, so we could communicate, and we fill in all the papers. And when I was home, I was so tired. I didn't know what I had done. Was it because of that material thing? No, it was not because of that. I was feeling so bad because I felt like he didn't respect me. He didn't respect me and running away. That was like he was doing injustice to me.
Yeah.
But during the night, I found out, no, maybe that man, he really didn't know.
No.
And then I felt sorry for behaving so bad. I was so angry.
Well, you know, there's such a gift in that, you know, where the gift that I see from that experience is that you can see your reaction and how the respect, the desire to be respected is very strong, you know, and it's very strong in all of us. We do want to be respected. And then of course, so the emotions can be the iditi bawa, and we can, and as you journal about them and, you know, you look at them and say, okay, how can this, you know, how is this the gift? What is this showing me? And how can I be grateful for this experience? Because what it will do is it will help you transition into another space of wellness, so that you're not carrying or holding, you know, either the regret or the anger or, you know, whatever. I actually have been in that situation before where I watched a trailer back into my car, and when I went out to him, he totally denied it. And it was so frustrating. I was very young, though. I was, you know, it was probably my second car. It was a clunker, but But the anger and the frustration, I just wanted to be justified. I wanted to be heard. I wanted to be, acknowledged. And, and I wasn't. Luckily you were able to be able to interact with him. But there is absolutely a gift in this. There truly
But
is.
after that, I was asking myself, I consider him to be a mirror of my inner world.
Such a great
So
way
am
of
I
looking at
also like that?
Yeah, where are you not respecting yourself? That is then the question. If that is your kind of takeaway, that what he wasn't respecting you, if he is the mirror, where are you not respecting yourself?
That was
This
what
is
I
then the
was
question.
asking all the time. So I'm working with that now.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
And these are the lessons that we have to kind of go through, and that when we come across things like that, that is then the, okay, so what do I need to do? What do I need to ask? And all of that. So it's powerful. So people should be
Thank you
coming
so
back
much for
any
sharing.
minute, I guess.
Hello, Chris. Hello,
Thank you for
Padmalaya. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for being so vulnerable.
Oh, thank you for reacting on that.
Okay. So yeah. So let's see, cancel, close all the rooms. So I just 60 seconds, so they should be back any minute now and come back into the main room.
Padmalaya, do you want to share what your takeaway is? I'd love to hear it.
You have to unmute yourself, Padmalaya.
Oops. I really like what Ashlyn was saying about not being broken, so there's nothing to fix. And actually that really related to my process that I went through during this week, that the process of really believing there was a solution to a problem actually made it seem to me like it shifted the paradigm, that the problem wasn't a problem, it was just a neutral situation. And that I just had the feeling that the solution would flow more readily in this context. And this wasn't really a takeaway from today, but like it related to what she was saying, that really like it's just normal even for things to quote unquote go wrong or have challenges. But the other thing is I love how we can support each other, and through our vulnerability, or I don't even really maybe like that term, but like our openness, that creates this magic.
I'll tell you what, it really does. And, I've just noticed that over the last few weeks, just some of the things that I have been hiding, are starting to come, just, successes and failures that I've had over my life, and just different ways of looking at it, and things you just don't tell people. And all of a sudden they come up and you're vulnerable and it's like, oh my gosh. And yet the love that is poured towards me has been so incredible. It's just been so wonderful that I'm like, okay, this is a gift. Vulnerability, I can't remember what Brene Brown's quote about vulnerability is, but it is beautiful. We'll have to look it up and post it. But, it just vulnerability is so beautiful. It's healing. So Padmalaya, thank you. We are not broken. We are not broken.
Right.
So.
And I think, vulnerable, like we're not actually vulnerable. Like we're not, like to me that suggests that, we can really get hurt, but I think it's the opposite. When we're open, we get healed and we get supported through that openness.
I actually think that that's what the Brene Brown's saying was saying. Yeah, is that no, and I didn't remember until you actually mentioned that, is in our vulnerability is the greatest strength. And I'll have to look it up, but it really is, when we come full out and we are authentic, it just really gives us a power, a strength. It gives us a support and a strength.
And we discovered that other people have dealt with the same thing that we think is something, oh my gosh, I can't even tell anyone about that. But then, you know, probably the people who shared those things are going to have other people message them and say, oh, I've struggled with that too.
So true.
And like the things you said in the beginning, Jana, I thought, wow.
I still have those fears, and they come up, you know, at the weirdest time. When Clint was talking to me, I had been asleep, and then I woke up, and so it was like midnight, and so I wasn't fully awake. But I was really surprised at my initial reaction, of, no, I don't want to do this without you. The fear was just there, and then after I thought, this is crazy, because these beautiful people. It's not about me, it's about all of you guys, and coming together and sharing of this healing energy. Without you, I would not be where I am today with my level of healing. I feel like the healing of some of the trauma that I've experienced in my life has been accelerated because of this group. And there's no way that I would have been able to get through it and be able to look at it so innocently, without the guilt and the shame and the blame, without the energy and the spirit from the group and the connection that each one of us brings. I just feel like it's so important. What else did you guys, who wants to talk about a takeaway that they have? Anne.
First of all, when you started talking about the little sister group, and I was like, and you said, I haven't even met these women. I was like, who's she talking about? Like when you said, I haven't even met these women, it didn't relate to me because I feel like I've been in your living room, that you've been hanging out on the bed like Gerald was with me. Like it just, like, if I ever saw you guys in person, it would just be like, I would like to sit on your lap or something, like, like we don't know you. And like, even I've had a cough my whole life. I would get a cough, and if I got a cough, it wouldn't go away. And then my grandmother passed, and it seems like I've had that cough since then. I also think I might have had COVID twice, handled it with homeopathy effortlessly, but I mean, it was not fun, and it was, awful. And I had a cough that I think has not gone away this whole time that we've been a part of this group, right? Do you know Arlene? No, Carol sent me a picture of an Indian herb. It cost $6 on Amazon. My cough went 75% down in like less than 24 hours. It's so steadily is healing so quickly. I was like, oh my God, like the little tiny things that we don't even get to share, or that we're getting from each other, and the support, or like the sharing of a story that makes you think. Like every meeting that we have, there's a theme that I swear has been shared in several avenues that I've listened to all week long. And then we have this call, and it's just like confirmation, and it just keeps my eyes so set toward the light and love. And you're right, Gina, I would not be the same person without this. I don't know what I would do without it. I wouldn't want to miss it for anything ever. And I'm so glad it just keeps going. It just keeps going.
It does. It's so beautiful, Anne. And they're saying, what is the name of the herb?
Oh, it says, these Indian names. Oh my God. Hold a second. I'm going to get the bottle.
Okay. Abzena. I'm so sorry. I'm saying your name incorrectly.
Afsane.
You're so beautiful. I just
want to actually, before you say anything, Jana, I want to just share this with everyone. Last week, I was really in a bad way. I had been for the last month. Pressure of working 14, 15 hours a day. And the more that I worked, the more pressure that I felt, and not even having time to even shower. And I mean, I cannot tell you how awful it was. And I felt really down. And last week when I just broke out, and afterwards I was thinking, oh my God, if somebody one day, 6 months ago, said to me, you are going to speak and you're going to cry in public, I would have said, yes, no way. It's not going to happen. But something amazing happened. After that day, I felt much more lighter. And the next morning I woke up, there was a message was a message from Dr. Clint, a text. And I thought, oh, he's checking up on me. He just wants to know if I'm okay. And then I just checked my own personal email, and wow, boom, was Jana's message. Thank you for that, Jana. You know, as you said, sometimes people write to you at just the right moment, and it totally just changes the dynamic of the day. I sat there, I was reading, and I was crying as I was reading, and I read your message maybe 5 or 6 times, maybe 7, 8 times. And I paused on it. I didn't write anything, and it wasn't until night that I thought, I'm going to write to her, because I didn't know how to say how I was feeling. I just want everybody to know this, Jana and Dr. Clint, they really know what they're doing. I mean, they really, it was like you nailed it right on that spot. I thank you. And I love you so much. Thank you.
I love you so much. And I'm not afraid to cry in public.
Seriously, thank you. But I feel stronger because I cry in public.
Yes.
You know, I think this is something that everybody needs to understand. It's not out of desperation that people cry. It's out of having too much love that they become too sensitive. If you don't understand love, you cannot be sensitive.
Yeah.
And if you're easily crying, it's because you have a beautiful, beautiful soul. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You just inspire and influence so many people. Thank you so much. I hope this week goes better
Oh my
for
God,
you.
Anne. Thank you. It's already getting better by being here.
Awesome. Carol.
You were.
I can unmute myself. Can you hear me okay? Some of you might remember back in our April Miracle Game, I had kind of a breakthrough with a neighbor. He was constantly shooting his shotgun at the blackbirds, and my daughter has a startle response disease, and every time he would shoot the gun, you know, she would start having spasms. And I had asked him every way I could, please think about her before you shoot that gun because it causes her physical pain. And so I gathered up all of my courage and my love and my heart, and I called him and said, you know, that's 11 times you fired your gun in the last hour. And, you know, the replication is really, he said, I said, you know, it's really painful for my daughter. And he said, I think about her every time I shoot my gun. And I thought that was so strange, right? So he and I worked through some issues. I've agreed not to feed birds. I agreed to get my field cut. I agreed, you know, we had this reciprocity, right? And we healed our differences. And he introduced me to his neighbor who helped cut my field. It's been really good. That man passed away yesterday, this week. His funeral was yesterday. He had pancreatic cancer come up and he was gone within 2 weeks. And the mutual neighbor said, you know, he said, after you guys mended your fences, like, she's pretty good people after all. So I'm so grateful that the Miracle Game gave me the courage and the tools to approach him with love and understanding and really try to understand. And he said the blackbirds were so obnoxious to him, he couldn't hear his TV, and that's why he shot his gun at the blackbirds all the time. So I just encourage you, if you have discord and disharmony and a relative, someone in your life that you've not connected with, that you still hold animosity to, forgive and let go for yourself. It's so important that you let go of that stuff and talk about it and reach out and approach it with love, with all these tools that we've been given, because you don't know how short life is. And then I just wanted to acknowledge that I was trying to find Lynn on the thing because I was going to message her about something, and then we ended up in the small group together after all, and I was able to share some things that she had written about in our early group about Dr. Naram saying there is nothing to heal, and that had brought back a whole bunch of other stuff. And so I'm really grateful for Lynn and her words, and it was awesome that we ended up together. So
great.
that's it.
I love it. Well, I was just having that same thought, Carol, you know, about when you have a thought about a member in the group or a family member or a friend, something that has touched you in a way that you just need to share it, just do it. Just get right on the email or right on the phone and do it, because you never know. I mean, Carol's neighbor, 2 weeks and he was gone, you know. When she said, you know, we mended our fences, I was like, did he come over and mend your fence? I didn't know what that meant. It's a Texas thing.
That's a Texas thing. Shay knows what I'm talking about. So, yeah, that was, there's something else I was about to say. It was real important. Then it just went out of my, I'm having some fever and some physical stuff. So any positive light that you can send my way as I wait my COVID results would be appreciated. So
let's do that right now. Let's rub our hands together. I love this, Kathy's heart. I love it. Let's send Carol some love of healing and love. Awesome. No.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you. I'm so grateful.
Wonderful.
And I'm so glad to hear Anne's cough's better. That's wonderful too.
Yeah, and if you want to put that in the chat if you haven't already, or unmute yourself right now and share.
Okay, so I did put it in the chat. It's called Sitopaladi Churna. And it tastes good. It's like one of the only, you know how they taste pretty rough? There's only one that's for your stomach that you chew, and this one, they even say that this is the only one that tastes good, but there is one more. And they say that, someone told me that Dr. Naram used this, that he had a chronic little cough. And you like this, and he used this a lot.
Nice. Thank you. Is there anything anybody else would like to share before we end the call?
Oh, Carol. Wait a minute, let me send her.
Yeah, Padmala, I love your mandala. So great. Your artwork is so beautiful. Wonderful.
It's just a doodle.
I love your doodles. I'm a doodler too. But I don't doodle like you. I think they're beautiful.
Don't look too close.
You guys, I love the feeling that we have on these calls every single week. And I hate to end them, but I think it's probably time we should. Anyway, if you want to unmute and express love to each other, and then we'll go ahead and end. Do you want to all unmute?
Jana, can I say something real quick? This is Ronnie.
Yes, Ronnie.
I shared this in the group, but I didn't hear anyone else share it. And I just have a deep, deep feeling about this. I love every bit of everything we're doing, and I'm very appreciative. But when I get to the bottom line, if I have to just go to one thing, and I absolutely embrace Dr. Clint from this, is love will teach you. That the last line, love will teach you. That brings us all to where we are right now, how we feel, our vibration, our feeling in our heart. It just is such an answer. It's an answer, a prayer.
It's so beautiful. And it's so true. And I think that that's the reason why we stay on these calls, is because where else in the world do we get love like this? I mean, we just radiate love. We feel love. We receive love. And it's just, I think that that's the reason why we just love being on these calls, is because of love. So Ronnie, thank you so much.
Oh, and thank you for all you do, and everyone. And what a group. Wow. What an honor to be here.
It is an honor. I'm so honored to be here and with all of you lovely people. You guys bring so much to my life, really. Well, let's go ahead and unmute. And I love you, and I'm with you.
I love you all, and I'm with you.
I love you, and I'm with you.
I love you, and I'm with you.
Wonderful.
Stay safe, everyone. Stay safe.
Hey, we'll see you later.
You will.
I love your heart, Kathy. Bye-bye.
Love you, I'm with you. You're a dork, Lynn. Bye.
Bye, Jana. Thank you again, Jana. Love you.
Thank you.
Bye,
Jana.
Bye. So good to see everyone.
Well,
thank you, everyone. Love from here, even though you can't see me.
I love this group. I love it.
Love this group.
So beautiful.
Love you, Kathy, and Anne, and
Lynn's
everyone
picture.
else.
Mwah.
Mwah.
So I, the host, so I can, yes, now, okay.
See you
Love
all
you,
next week.
Anne and
It's hard to
Gordon.
leave. It's so hard.
It's a hard to
I
leave,
know.
obviously. Yes. Okay, so I do it for
Supposed to
all
be
of us.
really good, though. Did you hear Dr. Clint? Next week's supposed to be really good.
I mean,
Yes.
it was already good this week.
Yes, I know. Every week's really good.
Yeah. Okay. See you
Mwah.
next week.
Bless you. Bless you.
Mwah.
Meeting.